Hello everyone, welcome back to Simulated Heaven and welcome back to Prepared version 2.4. Now, like I said in my previous videos on this, I have an aim that I would like to show what this game is like with various add-ons and things like that. I am planning on gradually adding the add-ons. So the last video that I did was with the vanilla version of Prepared version 2.4, but including the ORBX FTX England, if I didn't say that correctly the first time. So right now I'm aiming to show you what a payware airport is like. That's my plan. So right now we're at Bournemouth, which is not a payware airport, it's just a regular airport, which I believe that the FTX England might improve airports slightly, but I don't think it does anything that major as far as I know, but I think it will improve them slightly. So we'll compare what this airport is like with when we fly into Southampton International Airport, which is a very short hop away from here, and we'll be able to see what the difference is like, because I've actually purchased and installed the ORBX Southampton International Airport. Also, it'll be interesting to see what the frame rate is like on each of these. Yeah, obviously this is a regular airport without any payware, so although there are buildings and stuff, you can see that the level of detail is not that high. The runway is just a regular runway from Prepared, and you can see, yeah, basically it's just a load of buildings. There's not really a lot of detail there, but I am running at a pretty solid 40 FPS, although to be fair, over there, look, we have got like an airplane over there, and there is some activity over there. I would imagine that stuff over there, probably I would imagine, is from FTX England, but I could be wrong. But anyway, we're at a pretty solid FPS, and I would like to take off, fly over to Southampton and try to compare the difference. Now, I am in the Lionheart Creations Piper Tripacer, and I think this airplane is absolutely amazing. I love it. I could spend hours and hours flying around in this airplane. It looks amazing. It flies amazing. They have loads of different versions of it, like various paints and also interiors. This interior looks pretty awesome. I really like it anyway. I think it looks great. I'm really impressed with this. I really enjoy flying it around, and also I find usually that Lionheart's airplanes usually are very frame rate friendly. Anyway, let's bring the GPS up. I know it's not realistic, but I like to do this to remind myself where I need to go. And then let's see if we can take off without crashing. That will be a great start. Now, you do have to be very careful with these airplanes, because they're quite easy for you to over-stress them and crash mid-air. So you do have to fly them with some thought. Okay, let's see if we can rotate. Try to get a nice rate of climb. Now, what I'm going to do actually, when we get over most of the airport, I'm going to see if I can maybe pause it there, go to an outside view like so, and we'll just have a look at the airport. So like I said, you can see there's quite a lot of buildings, not a lot of detail other than that really, apart from this little bit over here, which as you can see there's like a car park and some stuff. I'm pretty sure this stuff over here, like I said, is from the FTX England. I could be wrong, but it does look very ORBX style to me. But obviously they're not going to really improve loads of things about the airport, you know, because I think that FTX England is mostly about the scenery rather than the airports. And obviously they have their own add-on airports, so they would rather you buy their add-on airports, alright? Anyway, let's continue, get the GPS up again. Now, like I said, it's a very short hop over to Southampton from Bournemouth. Let's make sure that's nice and clean. So it shouldn't take us too long, hopefully. That's the hope. Now I'm feeling quite good about where we're at here, in terms of we're kind of having a nice rate of climb. We seem to be relatively trimmed out, maybe actually a little bit. Let's come off the power. I should have done that anyway, really, shouldn't I? So we'll come off the power a little bit. Okay, let me see. Yeah, we are still climbing. Not a lot though. Okay, so I think we're pretty much trimmed out. Pretty much. Let's have a look around. Like I said in a previous video, I'm just absolutely loving the scenery, the FTX England scenery. I can spend hours just looking around. I think actually being from England helps a lot, because it kind of makes me feel more at home, if you know what I mean. I think if you were not from England, you would actually maybe not appreciate this so much. Okay, that was a bit too much. No, that was a lot too much. What happened there? I was trying to play with my trim wheel and I think I did it a bit too much there. Nah. Not quite sure what I did there, but I've completely ruined my trim there. And I'm going way too fast. What am I doing? I'm going way too fast. I'm really surprised I didn't overstress the aircraft there, because that was looking like pretty shocking behaviour there. I was like overspeeding loads. I've done something wrong here to my right. So let's try playing with my trim wheel. I think I've completely ruined my trim. There you go. Would have helped if I looked at that, wouldn't it? Now, this is like the worst trimming ever of an airplane. Okay. Lol. That was pretty awful. Got kind of mixed up with my trim there, didn't I? We still need to be going up a bit. Like I said in the last video, I am a little bit out of practice, to say the least, with this whole flight sim malarkey. But I am enjoying trying to get back into it and all that. Now we're only 15 nautical miles away from Southampton International, so that's good. I suppose what I should try and do, if that really is the runway, let me zoom in a bit more. Yeah, I think that's trying to say that's the direction of the runway, so I should try and head a bit to the right, I suppose. I think there is a bit of weather involved. I seem to be having a little bit buffeting, not much. But a little bit. And let's see if I can actually do a decent landing. I'm not so sure. I have been flying air hauler a fair bit. And I have had a few very, very dodgy landings in air hauler. And I did manage to get air hauler working fine with this game, with Prepared, even though it's not officially supported. It's the FSX version of air hauler, but it works fine pretty much. It doesn't seem to connect with absolutely everything. It doesn't seem to 100% get all the details, but it does obviously work with all of the important information, so you can run the various things like jobs, you know, the various haulage cargo runs, and all of that is fine, you know. So yeah, I mean, I found I just had to run it in wide FS mode, and then all you have to do is whenever you start a contract, you know, and then it will just ask you to boot up the flight sim all by yourself. And I was even able to install custom aircraft from Prepared into air hauler. So all in all, it's pretty good. Now, I'm kind of hoping that this time, while I'm interested in flight sims again, I'm kind of hoping that I can start learning to be a bit better, learning more stuff. So I want to read some of the manuals that come with these aircraft in a bit more detail, and try to maybe do some manual startups, learn a bit more what to do with the mixtures and the fuel pumps and stuff like that. That's kind of my hope, because obviously at the moment I'm not really, you know, all I'm really doing at the moment is just doing the flying part. I'm not really using all the controls accurately or correctly. So yeah, that's kind of my plan. Okay, so we are heading down to Southampton. 8 miles now. Ooh, is that... Let me just have a look over there, zoom in a bit. Whoopsie. Whoopsie, not like that. Not that much. Come on. Some stuff over there. Cool. Right. I should be able to see the airport in the not too distant future, hopefully. Now, if that is in fact the way, that the runway is, then I need to be heading over from this side. But we will see. I reckon we're ever so slightly overspeeding. Only a little bit though. Is that airport over there? Kind of hate it when it resets itself. It's looking like it's over there somewhere. Now, pretty much the whole of this flight, whoopsie. Pretty much the whole of this flight, wow, look at that, that looks really cool. I've been hovering around the 23 to 20 FPS mark. I am recording, so obviously that is affecting stuff a little bit, the fact that I'm recording. But that's some really nice detailing, isn't it, down there? Now it'll be interesting when we get to the airport, Southampton airport. We'll see what kind of frame rate hit we are getting. But to be fair, even right now, my frame rate is a little bit all over the place. It's going as low as like 15, 16 FPS, kind of hovering a little bit around 18 right now. So not the best performance, but we are kind of flying over quite a detailed area here. Lots of houses and lots of buildings and lots of stuff. Obviously the airport where we started, that is a airport which is a bit more in the middle of nowhere, so I think that's why. Now I think I can see the runway, I think. So we'll come off the power a bit because we're kind of over speeding a little bit, and we'll see if we can maybe do this reasonably well. I want to actually get rid of the thing just so I can see my altimeter a bit better. Yeah, you know what, I think we're a bit high already. I do think we are a little bit high. Kind of didn't set myself up too well there, did I? We'll see. Yes. We are descent. Oh, actually, we might not be too bad, but I think this is going to be too steep a rate of climb, to be fair. And we're not perfectly lined up with the airport either, with the runway either. Oh well. Actually, I shouldn't have to come off the power too much, because we're not too far off the kind of speed that we need to land, so I don't want to go too crazy. I kind of have a habit of coming off the power too early and then basically slightly crashing at the beginning of the runway, like just before you get to the runway, if you know what I mean. That's been my habit recently, coming off the power too early. This actually doesn't look too bad for me, so that's good. And obviously this is quite a big airport, so we do have quite a large runway to deal with, to work with, so that's good. Are we going too fast? No, I think this is a good speed. I mean, maybe not perfect speed, but I think this is quite a good speed. I am using one notch flaps right now. That's helping to slow me down enough. Okay. You can see, like I said, you can see my FPS in the top left hand side. Oh my goodness. That was rubbish. That was rubbish. That was really rubbish. I did a bit of a bouncy landing. Oh well. Okay, so let's go to idle. Now, actually, if you have a look outside at the airport, well, you can see there is quite a good level of detail here, isn't there? And yet my FPS is not being hit too badly. It's like 25, 26, 27. It's kind of similar to what it was when I was flying over that very populated area. So the FPS is not really going crazy, is it? It's fairly acceptable at this point. Let's get rid of our flaps. And let's see if we can zoom out a bit. Okay, now my plan is just to have a quick look around the airport. This isn't really a professional review of the airport or anything, it's just to show you guys or give you guys an idea about what an airport looks like when you're using payware, well, specifically when you're using ORBX. So like I said, this is the ORBX Southampton with the ORBX FTX England. So one of the things that's great when you use the same company for the airport and also for the scenery, you'll see that the ground blends in really well, really nicely. Like there's no kind of we're going way too fast. What are we doing? There's no real like problem with there being patches on the ground that don't fit in or anything like that. It's like a seamless thing, you know. It seamlessly flows from the rest of the scenery into the airport, which I think is great. And as you can see, we're adding some really nice detailing into this airport. Like it adds so much more realism. It makes me feel so much more immersed by having this level of airport, which is pretty cool. So just have a look over here. I suppose actually what I might do is I might take off again and then try to show you a picture, or you know, try to pause when I'm just flying over the airport. Then hopefully that will kind of give you an overview. But I'm certainly really impressed with this airport, and it makes me feel very excited for the whole air hauler thing, because you know, like I said before, when I'm flying air hauler, when I'm flying around in England, I kind of want to feel the most immersion that I can. And like I've also said, this is one of the main reasons that I got this over X-Plane. Like I do own X-Plane, but I find in X-Plane there isn't enough scenery that can actually make England seem this realistic with airports and with scenery, in my opinion. So I think this is a really good combination, and my plan is to buy, I don't think I'm going to buy all the ORBX airports, or if I do buy them all, but I'm talking about in England, but if I do buy them all, it will be over a gradual period of time, if you know what I mean. I am going to actually buy a few of the UK 2000 airports. I believe they have Birmingham, and it works as well with Prepared, and I think Birmingham would be a great airport to have. So yeah, so I'm basically planning on using a combination of the FTX England scenery with some of these add-on airports from either ORBX or from UK 2000 or whatever they're called. And then my plan is to try to gradually add the other add-ons. I have a few other add-ons. I think they are mainly Rex add-ons. And then by the time all of that is in, I'm pretty sure that I should have a pretty nice experience then of flying around in England. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I know that a lot of people have said that the FTX England is not as good as some of their other products, but the thing is, I really want to fly in England, and for me, this is really giving me a great feeling of flying in England. Right, so my idea, like I said, is to try to take off again and to show you guys, you know, pause the game when I'm right over the airport so you can have an overview of what it looks like. Now obviously when we're in Bournemouth it just looked like a regular Prepared runway, but you can see here that this runway has been really improved, and you know, it looks really nice. It's more of a custom runway. Okay, so like I said, let's see if we can take off. I'm gonna just take off full speed, try to get off the ground as soon as possible to hopefully show you guys. Now, there is a little bit of juddery performance when you're taking off and landing at this airport. You know, the FPS is hovering somewhere between 20 to 25, so it's not the best, but certainly it's not that bad. It's still kind of playable, and I'm fairly sure that when I've played around with some more of the settings, I'm pretty sure then that I'll be able to get a more consistent FPS. Anyway, I've paused the game. Let's look outside. Now, like I said earlier, you can see the amazing thing using the ORBX for the airport and for the scenery is the way that it blends in is just amazing. I mean, I don't see an obvious change when you get into the airport, and the problem is when you use either the stock airports or like other add-on airplanes, other add-on airports from other companies, you often find it's not a seamless transition. Whereas for me, using FTX England and an FTX Southampton International Airport, I find it really well integrated. It's really awesome. And obviously, like I said, I am going to buy some of the UK 2000 airports, and it'll be interesting to compare and see what the difference is, and if those ones also integrate as well. I really like some of the ground textures in this airport. It makes it look really realistic to me. I'm really liking that. Like I said, you can see an overview of the buildings and the level of detail. Like, this add-on airport has just really brought this airport alive. It's added vehicles, it's added lots of stuff. It's even added trains, you know, on the outskirts of the airport. So it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with this. Okay guys, so that'll be the end of this video. Like I said, it was just to show you what Prepar3d is like when using the ORBX England and ORBX Southampton International Airport. I think my next video on this will be after I've installed one of the Rex utilities. I think I'm going to try to install one at a time and do a video each time so we can see what the progress is like. Yeah. Okay guys, thanks for watching this video, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.